Will you all please join me in Gassho, or silent reflection? No. Reverently contemplating the true Buddha and the true land, I find that the Buddha is the Tathagata of inconceivable light, and that the land also is the land of immeasurable light. Because they have arisen through the fulfillment of vows of great compassion, they are called true fulfilled Buddha and land. There are relevant vows that were made, the vows of light and of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Samanda. Good morning, everyone. Well, I am sure that everyone is starting to feel the summer heat up here in the Pacific Northwest. We certainly are. We have to have the windows open and we have to have the breeze flowing through. But I am greeted this morning with a great smile and a little bit of an aching body because yesterday, Tacoma Buddhist Temple won the annual softball tournament. On that note, I would like to. We're going to introduce him at some point later in the service, but I would like to call on my brother to go get something from the side room. And yes, and also for those of you who do not know, my brother Kazuo also rang today's Kansho bell as well. Back when we were growing up at the Sacramento Betsuin, and actually I think Reverend Yukawa will remember this, but we were asked as younger boys to ring the Kansho bell for the starting of service. Thank you, Kazuo. So I would like to first congratulate Tacoma Buddhist Temple for winning this year's softball tournament, and we have the trophy back here at Tacoma Buddhist Temple where it rightfully belongs. Thank you. So, congratulations to Tacoma, but of course, hearty congratulations to White River and Seattle as well, because everybody played very hard, they played very wonderfully, but we also had a lot of fun. It was a very fun game. We were able to play up to 4 games, actually, and we were all sweating and feeling very good about ourselves by the end of the day. Again, right, we all have this great sense of pride, of course, we won, and it's a wonderful thing. But as, we come back to the realm of Buddhism, right, and to the realm of enlightenment, as we are sitting here in the Tacoma Buddhist Temple, we remember too, as much of pride as we feel for our temple and our wonderful Sangha and the fact that we won the trophy back again, we also have to remember that, in truth, there are no teams, there are no, there is nothing that, there is nothing necessarily that would divide us between White River and Seattle besides the temple buildings and the affiliations and the memberships that we are. But, in truth, we are all Jodo Shinchu Buddhists, we are all one family, and we all love each other. And this is why I actually talked about the opening quote today, because it talks about Amida Buddha's Pure Land, right? It talks about the realm of enlightenment. And in the realm of enlightenment, we are all one big family. We are all one big, moving system of the Dharma, right? There is no Amida Buddha doesn't distinguish which temple we belong to, doesn't distinguish what race we are, what our sexual orientation is, how we identify as, gender. But, all of us are unenlightened beings who are embraced by Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. And so while we do have a great sense of pride of who we are, and we should, by the way, have a great sense of pride of the temple we belong to and the history that goes with it, we also need to have that hand in hand with the realm of enlightenment as well. That, at the end of the day, we are all Buddhists, we are all one big happy family, and that we all share the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. So, in this regard, right, even for myself, we are, in our teachings of Jodo Shinshu, what we are called Bonbu beings, right? We are called unenlightened beings. This doesn't mean that we're stupid or that we're in a pejorative sense, right? It just simply means we are unenlightened and that we are prone to sometimes the shortcomings and sort of the kleshas or the imperfections, right, that come with being people, being human. Even myself, going back to the softball tournament, when someone would hit the ball and it would fly up and the opposite team would catch the ball, I would feel this inner little self going, like why did they hit the ball that way? Or why did that, it's like, I wish that guy didn't catch it, right? There's this little inner monster, right? Or this little inner person inside of me, kind of going, I really wish it didn't turn out that way, right? And it happens in sports and competitions, right? And in some ways, it can actually be healthy because it makes us do a little bit better, or it makes us, strive to become better. But if we stay with that, right, if we keep to that, if we hold on to that, then we don't become very nice people, and we become kind of, even more dwelling in the sense of our bombu nature. And this is why, once again, I come back to reading of this beautiful passage by our founder, Master Shinran, who describes the wonderfulness and the openness and the compassionate sense of Amida Buddha. Right? The Dharma and Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, understood that this is part of the human condition. Right? Even during Shakyamuni Buddha's time, there were different tribes or different kingdoms that separated themselves from each other. Sadly, sometimes these kingdoms would go to war with each other. Yet, Shakyamuni Buddha still traveled the land to preach the Dharma to all these different kingdoms, regardless of who they were. And all these kings would actually go and pay homage and respect to the Buddha. The Buddha didn't take sides, obviously. The Buddha would understand that beyond this realm of country or national affiliation, right? We are all people suffering the same condition of unenlightenment or of our bombu selves and our bombu nature. And this is why in today's time, when we don't have Shakyamuni Buddha right here and now in person to teach us the true way of the Dharma, we must heavily rely upon the teachings that were handed down, from the time of the Buddha to the time of today. We are able to continue to recite the teachings. So wonderful is it that many Buddhist scholars of the past put their time and dedication to write the teachings down. So wonderful it is that we are provided a place where we are able to gather and congregate and listen to the teachings. But most importantly, we take those teachings, drink them in, listen to them, and at the end of the day, come out, I think, as more helpful in terms of how we conduct ourselves or how we feel actually about society itself as well. I understand, there was, we have also a Mariners game last night as well, right? When we have going above, right, going also into the big realm of national sports, we have our own team affiliations. My father, for example, has never stopped being a Sacramento Kings fan. Of course, always seems to root against when the Warriors play. All of these team affiliations, right? We all have our own teams that we like. Of course, I have never seen as strong a pride of football until I came to Seattle and realized that this was a Seahawks territory here, and that people take great pride in that. And so I would never, ever challenge that. I particularly don't have a strong affiliation towards football myself, but I can see, right, the pride that we all feel towards that, and that's fine. This is part of the human condition. It's wonderful to root for your team, and it's wonderful to feel proud about, the affiliation that we belong to. But at the end of the day, right, as Buddhists and as people who follow the Buddhist teachings, we should once again come again to remember how important it is that we are all one big happy family, that we are all one big Buddhist family. Sometimes we have to compete, or sometimes we have to, we'll compete against each other. But as Coach Ikeda, actually, our wonderful coach who is here today, who led us to victory yesterday, reminded me yesterday, remember, Sensei, this is all for fun. We're here to have fun. Coach Ikeda was the one who instructed me, right? And as a Buddhist minister, right, of course, it is most important for me to listen to all of you. I may wear robes, and I may have a Buddhist scholarly education and what have you. But the most important people I must listen to are the members themselves. If I think of myself as this, upper person who, is better than everybody else because I get to stand up here and wear a robe, then I'm not, then I have joined the Buddhist order for a wrong reason. It is very important because even going back to the days of Shakyamuni Buddha, most of the sutras that have happened were because someone asked the Buddha a question, or someone told the Buddha how they were feeling. Someone prompted the Buddha to speak. And of course, not saying that I'm Buddha, of course, but the important lesson to take out of this is that I also need to listen to the membership as well. There is nothing that really separates me from you. Even though I wear a robe, I am still part of this family of unenlightened beings as well. I am just as unenlightened, maybe if not more so unenlightened than the rest of you. I think yesterday's win was such a wonderful happiness and pride that was given to me. But I will always still remember Coach Ikeda's words in my ears that, remember, Sensei, this, we're having fun. This is just for fun. And of course, as Shinran Shonin reminds us, right, that as we are able to affiliate, or we say we're Jodo Shinshu Buddhists and we have this title and we are Buddhist and we're proud of that, we have to remember as well that Amida Buddha embraces all sentient beings, regardless of who they are, regardless of where you're from, regardless of how you affiliate, all of these things. Amida Buddha embraces all sentient beings and welcomes all people to the Pure Land. And I think this is very important for us to remember. We get caught up in things sometimes, and that's okay. This is part of the human condition. But at the end of the day, let us do our best to reflect on the words of our master Shinran Shonin, as well as Shakyamuni Buddha, to remember that all sentient beings are connected and that we are all one family. Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion reaches all. It is so wonderful to see so many people here today for a summer service, and I know it's hot, but if you will all please join me in Gassho again as I read the closing message and the Gosandai once more of Shinran Shonin's passage of Collections of the Pure Land Way. Reverently contemplating the true Buddha and the true land, I find that the Buddha is the Tathagata of inconceivable light, and that the land also is the land of immeasurable light. Because they have arisen through the fulfillment of vows of great compassion, they are called true fulfilled Buddha and land. There are relevant vows that were made, the vows of light and of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.